Alright, so we currently got the moon in Virgo right now, so we're going to be basically pretty much reacting and responding towards the details, being organized, critically reacting to and responding to some forms of communication, and of course talking about these things. Now we're about to have the grand air trine tomorrow. We pretty much about to wrap this up with this Earth grand trine. We're about to have the air grand trine tomorrow, so the moon going to be pretty much rotating and of course waxing in Libra. So when the moon waxes in Libra, it's time to basically, start relating towards wherever you got Libra in your house and do it the best way as you can. Now you're going to be basically going through some obstacles to Mars with Jupiter, which is experiences, and Mars, which is integrity and passions and motivations. So the key aspect is to use both alignments and charts to pretty much, get things fiery, flowing, and going for you. And, it's going to be catastrophic tomorrow because we're going to have the grand air trine, but we also be dealing with oppositions and opposing energies. And we're also going to have Pluto squaring the moon too. So tomorrow, not really quite too sure about tomorrow as far as people, linking up and kind of like, going places, especially if they ain't got a purpose or a goal tomorrow for me. Tomorrow some shit can go down. So you don't want to place yourself in situations of doing that. And also because some shit can go down on the next day. Depending on how long the moon is in Libra. Also some shit can go down when the moon falls in Scorpio. So yeah, also some shit can go down when the moon is in Sagittarius. So yeah, these few days, you should be focusing your viewpoints and your focal points on, somewhere where you can be safe, balanced, you can live in fairness and justice. Because also Capricorn is exalted in Libra. So Capricorn gonna be there too. So it's gonna be some squares, gonna be some learning aspects into it of that nature. So you don't want to place yourself in situations of going to the extremes tomorrow. Tomorrow card is gonna basically be the number 5. And when we're talking about the number 5 card, we're talking about the Hierophant, which is, doing things in moderation, taking your time with things, not going to the extremes. Also, placing yourself in a situation where you can bind. And also the Temperance card. So the Temperance card is all about equilibrium and balance for me. Balancing your cup tomorrow. That means not filling your cup up all the way and going to the extreme tomorrow when it comes to certain energies that you're utilizing. Because you feel me? The moment you go overexhaust yourself and go to the over extremes in natures, you're going to witness and experience some shit that you don't want to experience. Which means these energies can be basically used on you in certain ways, in certain aspects. So pretty much tomorrow is going to be Wednesday too. So everybody going to be formulating some form of ideas, intellect, and communication. Also, the seeds you planted when the moon was in Virgo, you're going to be basically relating towards the seeds you planted tomorrow, which will basically be in a new sign. Now, if you're bringing in baggage and dirty seeds and shit, you're going to start to relate yourself towards parasites, insects, bugs, and shit. Now, when it comes to your 4th house, you're going to manifest oppositions and, of course, obstacles dealing with status, reputations, careers, goals, and business. Either someone or something is going to pretty much be an obstacle towards your reputations and things that matter. Now, this is all about blending both. I mean, this is a sacrificing kind of perspective right here. So you might have to sacrifice half and half during this time. Now we got both planets in the skies that's going to basically be doing these obstacles. Now, if you got this in your 5th house, you're going to place yourself into situations of having opportunities or manifesting opportunities, relating and communicating about romance, love affairs, or desire. These could be good opportunities or bad opportunities depending on the seed you planted when the moon was a Virgo. Now you're going to go through a whole lot of opposing energies and face a whole lot of obstacles dealing with the people in the public, friends in the public, associations in the public. You're going to be manifesting a whole lot of public enemies on this time, so be aware of this shit. Now, if you got this in your 6th house, you're going to be placed in situations of going through misunderstandings or pushing off misunderstandings and having the grand trine to formulate some form of equilibrium and balance when it comes to work, health routines, overindulgence of food, desires, and pleasures and shit. So be very careful with your health during this time, because what's going to oppose you what's going to oppose you and throw you off is going to be your subconscious, dealing with your 12th house, your dreams, your fantasies, illusions, your nightmares and shit. So be aware of that shit. Whatever's been on your heart and your mind before you go to sleep. 7th house. Now you're going to be on the opposite ends during this time. Now you're going to be manifesting. Now you're going to have a conjunction in the grand trine. You're going to have a conjunction in the grand trine during this time. So you're going to be placed in situations of relating and communicating about your relationships, romance, love affairs, and seeing both sides on one way, or basically taking a different viewpoint on how you relate towards others. Now what's going to oppose you and throw you off is going to basically be your 7th house, which is you're going to be in the 1st house. You feel me? Personality, personal appearance, personal awareness, and shit like that. anger, personal experiences, and personal anger and aggressions with the individuals that you pretty much relate to and relate with. Now, if you got this in your 8th house, you need to place yourself. You're gonna place yourself into circumstances, situations of going through some deep illusions and fantasies of manifesting a whole lot of abundance towards deep desires, communicating and relating about deep desires, deep romance, deep sex, deep appreciations, or just pretty much talking about some form of connections or some form of commitment during the time. Now, be careful and aware and try to create some form of equilibrium and balance when it comes to deep desires and shit during this time. Because the seeds you plant during this time, is you're going to be basically experiencing and expanding with it when it comes to the 9th house being in Scorpio. Also, you're going to manifest a whole lot of opposing energies and obstacles towards things that's surface levels, things that's on the surface. And that's not beneath the water, but on the surface, which can be your 2nd house. It's things you value and appreciate during this time. Now, if you got Libra in the 9th house, you're gonna be placed into situations of having opportunities to communicate and relate about philosophy, spiritualities, realities, experiences, beliefs, moral systems, and principles. Now, what's gonna kind of like throw you off and oppose you during this time could be either the individuals that you kind of like have a correspondence with when it comes to your friends, anger and aggression in that area, or a whole lot of directness towards these areas. Whether these can be your friends, your siblings, your neighbors, or someone or something that's pretty much corresponding within your environment. So be aware and of course be alerted about that circumstance situation. That is up to you to utilize both tools to pretty much get the job done when we're talking about this perspective. Now, also be aware of that area. Now, if you got Libra in your 10th house, you need to create some form of equilibrium and balance and romance, and of course, ways of relating towards status, career goals, responsibilities, duties, and obligation. You're gonna overexhaust yourself in these areas. And also, you're Capricorn ascendant, so you need to you're gonna be going through a learning process during this time. So you need to be learning how to relate, communicate, and of course, initiating ways on to think of it practical when it comes to communicating about your career goals and status and business and reputation. Now, what can throw you off? What can throw off your reputation when it comes to your business, career goals, and passions? It could be your home, your family, or people, places or things that make you feel comfortable, or people that make you feel comfortable can pretty much switch up and throw you off on the sign, depending on the seeds you plant. For me, but also it's a learning aspect for you as well. Also, if you have Libra in the 11th house, you're going to be placed in situations of having the gift to manifest or push off communications about acquaintances, communications about humanitarian natures, communications about fairness, equilibrium, and justice, and looking at the bigger picture when it comes to groups, acquaintances, friends, or friends that make you look better and shit like that. Or you may manifest a whole lot of debates and arguments when it comes to friends and groups and shit like that. Now, what's gonna oppose you and throw you off can be one, your romance, your gifts, your talents, your hobbies and shit. Things that you do, things that brings fun and enjoyment can pretty much throw you off. For me, it can pretty much throw you off the most. So be aware of that. And last but not least, if you have Libra in the 12th house, you're going to be placed into situations of going through a whole lot of misunderstandings, a whole lot of exaltations, overindulgence towards your dreams, your imaginations, your fantasies, your illusions. You may dream a lot about being a judge or justice, or dreaming about a whole lot of justice, fantasy, equilibrium. Now, if you're planting bad seeds when the moon was at Virgo, you're going to have some fucked up dreams on the sign, for me. Which could be a learning process. But also what's going to oppose you and throw you off, it could be your work, your health, your routines, your coworkers, or people that you work with. That's going to pretty much throw you off. So be aware of that energy. That's where your Mars is going to be at.